Nice.
It is indeed nice as we have the draft up here for game number 3. This is the final matchup in the best of 3 semi. And as we said, Asura Rage are starting on the Dawn side this time around, which in this series has been the deciding factor for the first 2 games.
Yep, Grux and Rampage banned very quick, so banning out those key junglers, the adaptation to the drafts here from both sides, and Guile then first picking up the Sevarog, so that's 3 very potent junglers all taken off the board all at once. So we can see how the junglers are definitely impacting this series and how each team has decided to adapt their draft a bit there. I
And both
like it.
teams will have to adapt here. I feel like Guile are going to put the Sevrog into the solo lane, but like you said, it does take some of those very potent junglers off of the board, and we're going to see a Quang coming out for Asura this time around.
Yeah, so they need to take this away here. They need it as the counter matchup to the Sevarog if Sevarog goes off lane, and it also gives them a potential jungle option with a couple junglers off the table too. The Revenant, again, picked up very early. Don't usually see this in EU, but apparently NA prioritize him a lot more on that dual lane as a carry. So yeah, we'll have to see if the Revenant works out this time, or if there'll be a random Drongo again, which will fell him.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Drongo definitely did do very well for Asura in the last game. With Quang being picked up, I doubt we're going to see Revenant played by Appy in the solo lane, but it was something that Asura Rage went for in their matches yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll have to see if they do decide that, but it's probably going carry if the Quang pick up, but we'll have to see how the rest of the draft goes. Gideon picked up for Guile, solidifies their mid lane, so opting for the Gideon over the Fae this time. Yeah, just a nice, strong, solid mid pick. Can't see anything wrong with a Gideon. He brings a lot of comps together, he brings good poke, mobility, team fight potential. Strong pick.
He definitely does bring a lot to the team. And with Gal, they have another pickup here for their third pick, so we'll see what they end up getting to combo with him. I mean, if you take a look at the series, every single time it's been the Gideon that ends up winning the game as well.
That is true. His ultimate does bring a lot to these fights, and we actually see Quang picked up by Guile. So this pretty much says Sevarog should be going into the jungle. The
Do
Crunch
we?
wins the 1v1 against the Quang usually. Well, I do.
Am I looking at the wrong draft?
Maybe. Crunch third pick by Guile.
I have Crunch third pick for Guile. But Quang is
Yeah.
on Asura's side.
Yeah, again, a counter pick to the thing. We'll see Sevarog go to the jungle. Sorry if I said that wrong.
I was confused.
Yeah, so the Crunch is a counter pick to the Quang, so we'll see Sevarog go into the jungle. So yeah, Crunch should win that lane from level 5 onwards, pretty much. Which should solidify that matchup for them. And then the Sevarog can be that roaming batting machine with his ultimate. Asura Rage do pick up the Narbash here. They do like this pick, it seems. We're not too big of a fan of Narbash. We don't prefer the Decker even in EU. So it's interesting to see him come out. He is melee, so he has that weakness in laning phase, but he's definitely strong out of it. His stun is very potent, very powerful when it does land, and his ultimate is great for team fights, especially when paired with something like a Quang Tether. Interesting to see it put brought out again quite early, though. And Drongo. Oh, there you go, then.
So we are seeing a bit
So
of
I
a change
presume
for
it's,
Asura, and
yeah.
I believe Guile will probably be going for a Murdoch then, because that's one of the main rangers left on the board. Interesting, we saw a Wraithband in game number 1, and it hasn't been picked up at all here.
Indeed, Wraith is actually a very powerful pick still, but it seems neither team really wants to pick it away here, and we see Revenant and Drongo on the same comp, means Revenant's probably going into the offlane there. It could still potentially be mid, but I presume it'll be offlane. Should decently do well into Sevarog and Crunch. It doesn't really perform badly into either of them. Crunch is definitely the better matchup for Guile there, though. And they've got this Drongo Narbash lane again. They really like this lane, it seems, and it did work for them last game, so we'll see if it can they can replicate this in game 3.
Yeah, both teams have aspects from the earlier matches that ended up working well for them, but this is the deciding match of the best of 3. Whichever team loses here will be knocked out of PCL number 12, and they'll be forced to fight the loser between Reborn and Oxygen in the third place matchup. So there's a lot on the line here between the two teams.
Yep, and we see the Murdoch Mirror there, picked up by Gao. A solid duo lane, does fairly well, and actually a Richter on a Asura Rage. That's a Richter jungle there. I'm excited for that. I want to see some hooks.
I want to see a lot of hooks as well. I mean, I'm used to seeing some great plays from all of these players, and Richter just kind of ups the ante a little bit. But with that being said, we are ready to get into game number 3 of our best of 3 semifinals. So let's start up in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are so cute. Joining us here for PCL NA number 12, let's go through and introduce our teams here in this first semifinal of the day. Idic, the Doc, will be playing Crunch in the jungle. We've got Lucer. He's going to be handling a Muriel for Guile Esports. Regal going to the solo lane as the Sevrog, as he playing the mid, Gideon. And then finally, Ghost will be showing his face here as the Murdoch.
Yeah, and on the other side for Asura Rage, we'll be seeing Richter by Moxplode in the jungle, Ninja on the Revenant mid, Appy Picker with a Quang off lane, Ufel with Drongo carry, and Book Sinkman on, yet again, Narbash support.
Now this Revenant pick is very interesting to me. I think it's more the potential that he gives to the team, but we're not seeing that same kind of Faye Gideon matchup that we've seen for every single game of this series.
Yeah, the Fae usually does quite well into the Gideon, but I presume the Revenant here was sort of not just to deny, but also then create a play through mid lane. He can snowball there, he can win the 1v1. He's got good lane pressure. I'm surprised they didn't put him off lane, because he also does quite well into the Sevarog, but with the Quang pick, as you can see, Appy bullying Regal a little bit early, and should get the early pressure to deny Regal getting too many stacks, and yeah, becoming that larger threat that Sevarog can generate. I am interested though in seeing how the duo lane again performs with the Narbash Drongo, because Murdoch Miro is a very strong laning duo with the buckshot and the shields.
Look at that poke by Ninja onto Azzy, just getting him quite low with just the mark and the obliterate here, getting a lot of little red projectiles onto Azzy, making this lane already very difficult for him, and it's going to force out a rotation early from Idic. I think Ninja has to know this is coming though.
Yeah, Idoc going to jump down here. Actually going in.
Forward
crunch level 2.
Slowing down with the rocks a little bit here. Moxblood needs to get some aggression done, but it's not going to matter at all. Ninja can only try to walk away. Now, can Moxblood get the damage onto Azzy? Idic is being a nice little shield for him, but the Riplash goes on through. Azzy still drops the rocks on top of Moxblood, and it's going to be 2 down on the mid lane. The rotation came in a little bit late here for Asura Rage.
Yeah, very well played by Idoc there, actually taking his stun and forward crunch at level 2, so no left crunch there, and pulls off a very successful gank there of Azzy, and even gets another kill off the back of it with Moxplode, not quite able to pick up a counter kill there. The Richter has a lot of damage early, but it doesn't matter if he can't get close to the target he wants to damage, so very good body blocking there by Idoc, very well played mechanically by the dynamic duo there in mid lane, and yeah, it's a good early lead there for Guile. They needed that.
So let's take a second here and look at the dynamic in the duo lane as we see Ufel and Book trying to keep the lane very close to their own tower.
Yeah, the Narbash support there, melee pick there against double ranged. It means they're going to struggle in laning phase a little bit. Maybe until Narbash starts to get a few levels under his belt, then he can sort of fight back. But Muriel, very strong support at the moment. Big lane bully. Her Q, the Serenity, hits very, very hard now, and is a very strong slow, so she has really good laning presence, and Shield's allowed to trade efficiently. We actually see Richter here, Moxplode on Regal.
Yeah, he's getting on there into the solo lane. Regal gets a nice subjugate onto both of them, and the Riplash is going to miss, which is going to keep Regal alive. Appy Picker also got low underneath the tower, but neither team are going to be able to find the kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Idic ready to go on the Ninja, who will this time be able to walk away.
Yeah, really good play there from Regal there, good positioning, good movement, manages to avoid the hook there just about, and yeah, doesn't allow that to create a kill. It does give Quang the pressure in lane though, which is pretty much what was looked for out of that gang. Idoc actually in mid lane, yet again.
Going for the kill on the Ninja, making sure that Revenant isn't able to get anywhere in this matchup. Book and Ufel will be the ones to rotate around, but Idic is going to be there to help as he drop the rocks on top of Ninja. Ufel will walk on in. Moxful comes in from the backside as well. Riplash this time will hit, and the crunch will fall. So that is at least a return kill this time around for Asura Rage, but the aggression keeps on coming from Guile.
Yeah, these need to be the hooks. They need to be landing early. Asura Rage need to be making picks of this Rictor. He's a very strong early factor in these games. But IDOC doing a really good job just keeping this Revenant down in mid lane, not letting him get any lead here. The second this Revenant starts to take off, it becomes so hard to deal with him. So IDOC's putting all his pressure here, and it's working out really well for them as he's synergizing very well there. And unfortunately, they do lose him off the back of it, but they're still keeping the Revenant back. So definitely still a good play out of Guile there. But Moxplode, if he starts landing these hooks, definitely starts to get the team rolling for the side of Asura Rage.
Adek has been the linchpin of this lineup so many times over. He's been really showing his skills here in this best of 3, and I don't see any reason for him to stop here in game number 3. Really trying to create some space for his team, making sure that Ninja doesn't have the start that he needs to as a Revenant. As you said, it's so important for Asura Rage to get this hero going because that just increases the amount of damage that they can output in the fights, and they need to make sure that he's able to win his ones. You gotta win your ones if you're playing a Revenant.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be winning lane, and he just doesn't bring that team fight presence that something like a Gideon would. He doesn't have that big AoE ult. So unless he can get ahead and get that ability to actually use his ultimate, is reckon to get a pick inside a team fight, he's not going to be as useful as the Gideon. The Gideon's going to create a lot more plays, and it's going to make the mid game much harder for Asura. So hopefully they can get this pick rolling for them, and Moxplode can back that up with some early pressure. Richter does provide that. And I mean, they have the lanes to do so. They've got the winning matchup on mid and right, providing they play to them. They've got the early aggression, and they're on the Dawn side, which we've seen time and time again has been a huge factor in the positioning around Fangtooth and for the strong side jungle that Asura could have used to pick up another win here, as their win condition at least.
Yeah, this early game is all about the Fangtooth aggression, but we're seeing a little bit here on the Ghost. Spunk has already been used. So now Ghost, all he has to do is just wait for the rotations to come through, and Idok is going to be ready for it. Gets the forward crunch in, but he's going to be stuck with the gag grenade, and that will allow Asura Rage to back it on up away from that aggression.
Yeah, excellent funk by Book there. And U12 the Stronger has been doing a lot of work. The silence is very potent in this. You've got Muriel that wants to play shields. You've got Murdoch that wants to bookshot you away. You've got Crunch, who really needs to get in your face and is a very ability-heavy hero. You've got the Gideon ult. So the Stronger's a really nice pick here. The silence plays into a lot of what Guile want to do here to set up plays.
If we take a quick look at the net worth, we do see a slight lead already on the side of Guile. Just about 1,000 at this point. It's been kind of cut down a bit by Asura in the last couple of minutes, but it's so important to have that gold lead so you can go for the Fangtooth, and the pick-offs are important as well. Moxplode looking for a Riplash on the Azzy. We'll see how much Ninja wants to go for this one. Skewer's going to be there. It allows Ninja to close his distance a little bit, and the Riplash is going to hit into the Reckoning. Can Ninja finish this one off? He gets the Obliterate, and Azzy will get taken down in the mid lane. Ida can't really create enough space there, and that might be the pick-off that Asura needed to go for some more aggression on the Fangtooth.
And these stealth buffs doing time and time again, like last game, Moxplode doing work with them. He has these hook grab heroes, and he just waits for them to come close to the edge and just pulls them out of tower range, you know, and he actually gets another one here onto IDOC.
Oh, yeah, he's going right for the crunch here. Ninja needs somebody to tank it up for him to actually take the aggro, but Riplash and the Richter aren't really enough to find kills at this point in time. So you said a little bit ago that the Drongo was doing a lot of work here as all those abilities are coming in. What else does Drongo really need to do just to make sure that his team continues to get the advantages?
So he's got the silence, of course, to follow up on all the hard CC that they can chuck out there and counter the other factors. Apart from that, he provides a lot of burst damage if he gets the rad rounds chunked up on the Murdoch or something. Even if the mirror shields, if he gets the shred off of his ultimate, it can just completely destroy a target very, very fast. And he's got a nice long-range slow to also set up things like the Richter hook, like the Quang Tether, make sure those abilities do land. So he's going to provide a lot of utility for the team, basically, and a lot of tower taking, objective taking potential with the rad rounds. They do provide a hell of a lot of damage and secure for whatever they try to set up here. So he's a very nice utility pick for them, and to make up for the lack of DPS in that regard, in comparison to the Murdoch, there's something like the Revenant, who's also going to provide a lot of damage in team fights, more so than the Gideon.
Oh, as he has to be so careful on the mid lane up against Ninja. He's gotten so low, and even though there's been some pressure put onto Ninja, he's completely okay with dealing with it and going toe-to-toe with the enemy team's caster.
Yeah, definitely providing the pressure they need to in that lane. And if you can continue to get this lead, they can be looking for these Fangtooths. We actually see Moxblood hanging around the Fangtooth now. They do need some more vision control here. Book needs to get some wards down so they can start their Moxblood already here with Appy.
Yeah, he already goes in. They are playing around a lot of wards from Guile, and they're going to find Ghost in the middle of the river.
Oh,
How
Ghost.
did they manage to get the Murdoch down there? It wasn't even like there was a Riplash from Moxblood. They take a huge kill, and Moxblood continues to look for more, but the rest of his team really just want to go for the Fangtooth at this point. Can Bear say anything about it, though? He's waiting on the high ground. I believe he is bugged out at this point in time, looking for the black hole, and they're just going to have to back up from Fangtooth. Meanwhile, though, Asura, they're just continuing to want to be aggressive onto Guile Esports.
Yeah, they got a really good pick there on Ghost, wanted the Fangtooth off it, but couldn't quite go for it. They're a bit scared there. Muriel was still up. There's still a Gideon Black Hole. Regal, as soon as that fight started, he Phantom rushed away from his lane and got here as fast as he could to prevent a Fangtooth being taken there. So good response from Guile, but Ghost maybe a bit too fast running towards the pit there, and does get picked off. So I think Asura should be happy with that, but Guile maybe looking to start it up on their own.
Yeah, they have a lot of AoE abilities that could allow them to secure this one, and they already saw the Quang on the other side of the map, so it might be a bit difficult for Asura to actually contest this one. And indeed, Fangtooth surrounded by 5 heroes. You got some Flame of Zekins in there as well. It's a pretty easy take for Guile Esports at the end of it.
Amazingly well played by Guile there.
Oh
on
no,
the
Appy.
level, they had really good setting.
Where are you going, Appy? You might have caught a Regal, but I think
He's
you might have seen the entire team. He's going to go on in. They know that Guile Esports are here. Beautiful skewer by Moxblood as well. Lucer has to come in with the ROF. He's going to get it on top of UFL. That's a nice pick for them to get, but is that going to be the end of the aggression? Moxblood very low on mana, has to get back. Ninja will get the obliterate on through. The subject is going to hold him there, and he can't get away from the long arm of the LOL. Guile Esports finding the kills that they need to. Regal with the Phantom Rush away from Moxblood. He's not going to be going down here, as the Ghost is going to go toe-to-toe with Appy Picker. It's a very close fight from both sides, but we've got 3 heroes down on the side of Asura, and Lucer looks like he wants a little bit more as well.
Oh, no,
Jumps
Appy
on into the fight. He's so aggressive. Appy Picker gets surrounded by 3, and Guile Esports will finish off the 4th one in this fight on the mid lane.
Amazing fight there for Guile. They got so many kills off of that, even with Moxblood getting an amazing skewer off in that fight, hooking a target into it so he gets all 3. It just wasn't enough, and yeah, they were able to clean up the whole fight. Guile, and using the Murdoch with the extra speed, just pick off each kill, and good use of his ultimate too, picking up the Revenant kill. So really solid team fighting from them, and even off the back of a Fangtooth too. So that's exactly the kind of lead they're going to need now. Good response from them, good recognizing where the enemy team have distributed their players after the disengage from Fangtooth, and all in all, very well played by them on macro and a micro scale.
And now taking a look at the net worth as well on the macro, we've got 8,000 gold in favor of Guile Esports, just using that last engagement to just power themselves up and over Asura Rage on the economy game.
Yeah, so they definitely got the lead here. We'll have to see how they can abuse it, but yeah, they're definitely not out here, Asura Rage. There's definitely something they could do. See IDOC actually. Whoa, wow.
Oh, he's going for that aggression, goes on up to the high ground, and UFL now has to back away from this one. Crash Bang Boom, though, is going to create the space that UFL needs, but he has to be so careful getting in this fight. Ghost is getting taken so low. The last Shrapnel Cannon is going to finish off the enemy team's carry. Now, can Lucer find UFL? He misses the Serenity, and that's going to allow the Trungler to get away. They're going to trade a carry for a support, definitely favoring Asura here.
Yeah, that was definitely a very nice play there for IDOC, though. He actually jumped and blitz rushed over the little ledge there by Gold Buff to get into the lane to try and assist Ghost there. Ghost does unfortunately go down. UFL played that amazingly well. The Shrapnel Cannons had lots of bursts of the rad rounds and such, is able to take down Ghost and get away. But yeah, definitely a small advantage there for Asura Rage, and I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
And Book also played that one pretty well. In addition, as he had the Crash Bang Boom, there was no uppercut to interrupt him there. They had already used their initiation to go on the Ghost, and then Book Synchroman just got a free Crash Bang Boom on the back side of it.
Yeah, so definitely very well played by Asura. They held off on his Crash Bang Boom for the perfect moment, and yeah, definitely turned around the engagement a little bit. We actually see them looking again towards this Fangtooth. A little bit of vision control, some overlapping wards. I think, does that ward spot over? I'm not sure if that ward spots into the pit or not.
Yeah, I have no idea,
That's
but
really
I think they were
interesting.
trying to go for a bit of a bait. Since they were just kind of hanging around that wall, they wanted to see if Guile were going for the, actually, is that an illegal ward?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm not sure if maybe it's gonna maybe.
Render, help!
Might need Naren for that one. It might be reachable. It might be reachable.
I don't know.
I think they tried to place it over and it got caught. So, might be illegal.
Okay, just to clue you guys into the rule that we are working under for this event, when teams place an illegal ward down, they are given a warning, and that is the only warning that they are given for the entire event. So just placing that one doesn't mean that Asura would forfeit the game if it's the only one they've placed down this entire event. But definitely be aware that our mod team will look into that and make sure that things are being applied fairly. But Idic's going to go on the Ninja. Even with those wards there, Ninja's going to get caught out by this one. Black Hole is going to be there to make sure that Guile Esports find the kill on the mid lane.
Yeah, that Black Hole's so strong at picking up individual targets there, even though it's AoE. The stun lasts so long, and it's just nothing you can do to get away with it when you don't have a teammate nearby to stop the Black Hole from continuing the channel. And it does look like, oh, Guile are looking for a Fangtooth off of that as well. Huge lead.
Yeah, they're going to use the Flame of Seconds to make sure they secure it as well. And Guile Esports will go on and get the kill. And maybe looking for another one. Moxplode. I don't know if that's the Rick you want to mess with. The shields will come through. Isn't enough to save Idic. Consecrated Ground, ROF, but he's still going to fall down. Moxplode will pay. He's still going to get taken out. And, well, it looks like Azzybear is blasting into space with the rest of his team.
Yeah, they just teleport away there. Very, very interesting. Good hook by Moxplode there. He does as well go down, so it is just a trade at that point. But hey, Asura Rage are probably a little bit happy off of that. They were to get some lane setting back from that. And I think their only real point of contention here is really going to be the Quang. He really needs to start winning this lane Appy picker like against Regal, because Regal is starting to get to the stage where he wins. He's got his numbing rogue online. He's level 12, so he's got a level advantage on the Quang. And the Quang's not quite able to keep up at this point. And if Regal can keep this pressure up here, it's going to make it much harder to abuse the Revenant, to abuse the Drongo, the Richter, all these early game heroes, as they just won't be able to keep the pressure up, basically.
Yeah, this is really where the Sevrog comes into his own. You see him at 0-0-4 right now, but he's gotten so much gold at this point in time that he's really going to be so much more of a threat to Asura Rage. Regal really ready to work some wonders on this hero.
Yeah, definitely crazy strong hero in this meta at the moment, and scales ridiculously well despite having a very strong early game, regardless, with only Quang contending in that kind of strength. But yeah, we'll have to just see how that matchup keeps working out, because Quang could buy something to flip it. He's got his own numbing rogue, but I think he's going to need something like an Unbroken before he can start bringing that back, because he needs the ability armor, because Sev does so much ability damage and relevance.
Yep, he's a tank, and he's a tank that outputs a huge amount of damage with his abilities, so we'll see if Quang can get to that point. But Asura Rage, they're going to have to find answers elsewhere on the map. They've been doing a good job making sure that Ghost is punished when he goes a little bit too ham, which is, I guess, historically been the problem for Guile Esports. Ghost wants to get a little bit too far ahead of his team, and he's definitely been paying for it. But this match, after that initial kill over towards the Fangtooth pit, he's been a lot more reserved with how he's going for his positioning.
Yep, indeed. And we actually see Guile here starting up the OP already. There are 5 people around here, and again, the dual lane from Asura Rage, it's on the other side of the map. They're not able to respond here, so Appy gonna check this, but nothing he can do. And that's another very well thought out OP from Guile there. Good vision control, good setup, good recognition of who's on the map. And maybe Regal looks for Appy? No.
He could be getting him. He's been a bit of a nuisance as well. Gets the Colossal Blow back. And as you say, on the mid lane, we've got the Black Hole on a Ninja. Ninja's going to get cleaned up by the Long Arm of the Law as well. No chance to go for the Reckoning to give him any amount of space there. And it looks like Guile Esports are starting to take advantage of their Dusk side of the map, taking the Orb Prime and getting set for a great push down the mid lane.
Yep, Book might be caught here as well, as Regal goes in there.
Idic ready to go as well, but the Thunk is going to hold him in his spot, but it doesn't really end up mattering because they kill off Book Synchroman anyway, and Moxplode is going to get shifted around as well. Nothing he can do about that one. That was just a neighborhood that he should not have been a part of. Regal's still looking for kills as well. They still want to try to make sure that Asura Rage are kept out of this fight, because Guile Esports are pushing this one. They took down a tier 1, they took down a tier 2, and it seems like they're ready to go for the inhib and get the super minions going down the lane as well. Judgment of the Heavens is going to keep Regal there for the time being, but the Subjugate is going to make sure that Ufel is kept in place for the Siphon and the kill by Regal. Ninja will just throw and obliterate their way, but it doesn't really matter because the inhibitor's already been taken, and the hero has been killed as well. Guile Esports, they strike back onto Asura in a big way.
Yeah, very well played there after the OP. They got the pick in mid lane that they needed, using the Gideon ult, used that pressure to get more and more picks as they push straight through the middle. There's nothing really that Asura Rage could do there. They probably should have backed off a bit earlier, kept Book alive and such, so they could try and defend the inhibitor. They're a bit too greedy to try and defend tier 1 or tier 2 there. They ended up losing a lot more than they probably should have off of that. But good capitalization by Guile there, and it does look like they're going to reset their lanes and look for another either neutral objective or maybe another side lane inhibitor.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole lot that they can get here in addition to their pushes. They do have a little bit further to go because, as we said in that last fight, they had not taken a tower before that push down the mid lane, so they still have tier 1s to take in the left and the right lanes. There's a lot of work here for Guile Esports to do, and there's still a lot of time for Asura to respond.
Yeah, definitely. Asura can get their lane set up here, and they can look for their own pick even, and look to maybe siege something out. Richter's very powerful in siege scenarios. If he gets one hook, that's probably going to lead to a dead target, especially if you have Revenant to secure the kill. So maybe they can turn this around. Maybe they can look for a pick or something off of that. They definitely got the comp to do so, but it's whether they can get these waves pushed out and deal with this mid lane pressure from the inhibitor being down.
It's just so much work for Asura Rage to do here, down 20,000 gold here as a team. And it seems like there's just so much space created and a lot of aggression from Guile Esports that's gone unanswered this game.
Definitely, yeah. Guile have played very well into their mid lane pressure, basically. They've always had this constant pick on mid lane with Azibear's ultimate, so he has this really strong ultimate to pick off the Revenant. If he gets him caught in the black hole and anyone else is there to assist him, pretty much a kill onto Ninja, and every time it's led to a lot of pressure there. And with the OP, they were just able to run through all the towers, and there's not much Asura Rage could do after that.
They could be looking for Regal here, but the Riplash misses, unfortunately.
Yep. 4-1 split from Guile. Regal looking to pressure on his own. Moxplode looking for that early pick, but now he has to rotate to go defend the tier 2 or even the inhibitor. I think they may have even given it a free tier 2 here. Yeah.
Yeah, right now Asura just can't really get in position to stop Guile on their push down the left lane, and as soon as Moxplode realizes that pretty much everybody except the Sevrog is over on left, he has to walk on over, and also Appy Picker got pulled over as well, which is going to allow Regal to have a little bit more space here over on the solo lane.
Yes, they're definitely looking for a pick here. I don't think they know if there's a ward there. They were definitely looking for some maybe over-aggression into the black side jungle there, because at this point, Asura really need to be proactive here. They're holding Regal off here, but the other 4 need to create something. They need to look for something here. Maybe an engagement off of that tier 2, because Moxplode wasn't there was the issue. And they ended up giving away 2 free towers there, and now it actually looks like they might be looking for a 5-man Zerg on left lane from Guile.
Yeah, they're ready to make sure that Asura can't get into their jungle at all. No farm for them to get, and they have to keep the mid lane clear as well. They have so much that they have to do in this game, and Asura just don't really have the manpower for it. They're pushing out the mid lane a little bit, and I think that Guile will slow down here, but the Fangtooth has respawned once again, and it's exactly what Guile have been doing this entire game. They haven't been letting Asura contest this at all, and this can be a quick take once again for Guile Esports.
Yeah, very easy Fangtooth that they just rotate over for. They were looking for the easy T2 on left. It was a good response by Asura. They'd already set the other lane and rotated over, but by that rotation, Guile noticed they can just rotate straight back over to the Fang, and there's not much response that can come from Asura at that point, so they're playing the map very well here. Guile very calm, very collected, and just taking whatever they can away from Asura so they can't get back in the game. It's very, very well played.
Yeah, they're doing so much as a team here correctly. And they haven't let their performance in game number 2 phase them at all. They said, okay, what? Asura may have gotten our number for 1 round, but we can change our number so that they call their ex-girlfriend instead, and then we'll be completely fine.
Yeah, they've adapted really, really well. And their draft just shows it as well. They've got a really solid lineup here. And they've abused it very, very well. They're just looking for this next OP. They don't need to do anything too aggressive here. They've got the inhibitor advantage. They just need to get lanes set out at the right time, as you can see. Right there, Ghost is waiting and waiting. He doesn't need to do anything. He's going to wait for that wave to come towards him and then slow push it back before the OP comes up. And then it will put on the pressure at the exact same time the OP spawns. And then you have to have a really bad decision by Asura. They're constantly trying to make these macro plays that are making really bad decisions for Asura. And they have to really be desperate at this point. So they're going to have to go for this OP, basically.
It's all about the timing right now for Guile, and it's so smart. They're just in control of this entire map. Right now you can see a couple of wards placed down by Asura. They're trying to get some control of their jungles, trying to get their green and black buffs back, but it's just a very small in what they're able to do up against Guile Esports, who have such a big advantage in this game. As he's just so happy to keep on dropping rocks on the mid. You see Ghost just keeping that lane. It's very controlled. It's going to be slow push, and he's already making his way over to the Prime Guardian as it spawns up in a couple seconds.
Yeah, he's killed off the range minions and he's rotating this wave will put on pressure just as the OP spawns. And as you can see, Appy really wants to go to it, but he has to come straight back to OP because the second he shows on left, they just start it. So all the cards are in Guile's hands here. They have the mid pressure, they have the side lane pressure, and either Asura make a play here and get a pick or get the OP or something, or they just have to let them take it because otherwise they're going to lose an inhibitor off of that slow push.
Yeah, and right now Guile have all the time in the world. Moxblood possibly looking for a Riplash to the high ground, but everyone's so patient here. And look at that, the MVP of the two matches. We've got another Shadow Plane buff on Ghost now. I don't know how the wards are. Ghost has to be careful with his positioning. I think he may know about the ward on the other side, but Asura Rage don't know about him at all. He's stayed out of vision for the time being, and Guile are trying to go for the excellent positioning. Appy and Book right through the middle of the Prime Guardian area. But Guile Esports are coming up the backside. They have to be careful here. Ghost goes in across the fog wall. He's going to look for Moxblood. They're going to find somebody. They have to. As he's looking for a good black hole, they started up onto the Prime Guardian, and as soon as that happens, Asura are going to back up. They're actually going to take those 10 orbs out from the Prime Guardian that he shoots out right at the beginning, and Moxblood, he's gone too far. He's got nobody to help. Ghost is going to get hit with the Fury of the Heavens on the backside. Here comes the black hole out on the 3 by Azzy. He's going to pick them all off. Now there is a reckoning on the Ghost. Ghost may be picked off by Ufel, and Ufel will be able to find the kill there. Looks like Azzy Bear has done enough to keep them out, and Asura are getting cleaned up right now, but it might not be over just yet. Regal is going ham. He's trying to get those subjugates down. It doesn't really even look like Asura have taken that much damage. They may have lost one, but it's just Book, and they have more than enough damage here. But the minions are going onto the core. It may not have been the best fight, but Asura have to get more out of it, and Regal is going to make it so difficult for them to do so. Regal's ready to go onto the Prime area, and Appy has to go back and defend the base. We talked about how those minions are going to be pushing down the lane, and that inhibitor is dead. Now back to the Prime Guardian pit. Lucer is going to get taken out by Ninja. Regal still going ham, though. Regal might be able to clean them all up around the pit and make this totally a non-factor for Asura Rage, as they can't even get the Prime Guardian. And is Regal actually going to solo this one? It's already taken a lot of damage. This is Regal versus Harambe. Can he take down that purple dude? Looks like he's going to go for it. It is a Sevrog, one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. He's fighting right on top of a ward. Asura Rage know all about it, but Regal versus Harambe. The orbs come down. The subjugate's going to be there. Regal going for the colossal blow as well. He's using all of his damage here. Is it going to be enough? Here comes Ghost, and the Prime Guardian goes to Guile Esports. That was a good battle.
And even though Asura got such a good fight off there to start with, the late game Sevarog comes in, cleans up the fight, and the good wave setting. They got a 3 inhibitor off of that. They got core damage. They got T2 damage. They set all their waves so perfectly for that. They didn't really have to do anything, and Asura got desperate, went for the fight, and even if the fight goes well for Asura, they still lose off of that. So it's a really well played macro game there from Guile. They played the map perfectly, and they're able to get so much off of it. And with Rico right there at the end, soloing up that Orb Prime, that's pretty much going to put a nail in the coffin there, because that's 2 inhibitors down and a Prime, and they're just going to look to shove down that last lane.
Yeah, they only have so many things that they have to do before they win the game. Guile Esports putting themselves in a great position to take this best-of-3 series. They have just swung the hammer here. Regal swinging the hammer the entire time to take down the Prime Guardian. You can see him here already with yet another Shadow Plane buff, and Moxblood is just so afraid of what could be lurking for him here around this tier 2 tower. The map is not safe any longer for Asura Rage. Everything has been turned against them, and the purple aura around Guile Esports is probably going to secure themselves the game. Subjugate is going to miss. Riplash misses as well. Everything's going to miss, but it doesn't really matter because Guile, their path to victory here is so clear.
Yep, they just need to keep pushing this lane, keep pressuring. They don't even have to rush it, as all the other lanes will start clashing with the core soon, and they'll just keep slowly grinding away. So it has to be Asura to be the one to make the play. And as you can see, Guile, they just sit back happy. They don't need to do anything here. It has to be Asura making the play here.
It's all about patience for Guile and Asura. It's all hands on deck trying to defend their base. Yufel, he's over on left trying to defend. And Guile Esports, they know these lanes are pushing in. It's about time for them to go because the minions have arrived. And it should not be many seconds before this inhibitor actually falls, as he will get caught out. There's a lot of damage onto him, but can they even take him down? Colossal Blow goes out on the 2. As he Bear says, please get away from me, guys, but the Obliterate is going to fall him, but it doesn't really matter because the Asura Rage are just falling and getting crumbled here on their own side of the map. Yufel knocked up in the air. He's going to die mid-air. And there's only so much that Asura Rage can do. Ida gets out of the tower range. He was marked up by the Revenant, but now Revenant has himself been marked for death by Guile Esports, who take down 4. The only one alive is Appy Picker as his last inhibitor falls. Guile Esports will take game number 3 of this best of 3 set, setting themselves up for a date in the grand final. We still have one more semifinal to go here in PCL NA number 12, but what a first semifinal it has been.
That was some very clean Paragon build from Guile. Very clean. Enjoyed that very much. Fantastic late game there. Amazing lane setting. Amazing objective control there. And it really just showed that they deserve to be in these finals now.
Yeah, absolutely. With the 26,000 gold lead over Asura Rage, they took that advantage from the early game and they kept it going throughout. What a performance from Guile Esports and also from Asura Rage. A lot of people have not been able to take a game off of Guile Esports here, but Asura Rage were able to do so. So I really cannot wait until we can see another event or another match between these two teams because that one was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, really incredible. I was really excited. Those games was some really good Paragon there, and I'm excited for the next semi-final now, Reborn versus Oxy. Very fun teams.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a matchup that a lot of people are looking forward to. It is a rematch of the PEX qualifier matchup in the grand final, which Team Reborn were the ones to take home. They were the ones who got all the money from that one, and they also got second in PEX. Obviously a very strong team, and Team Oxygen, they've been absent from the competitive scene for a while, waiting for the game to get to a better spot, but it seems like they are ready to show what they can do now. We're going to show that semifinal. It's another best of 3. We're going to show that in just a little bit after a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for using the Matcherino to get that prize pool up to $180. That's a lot of Happy Meals for the teams. Thank you for your views. Thank you for checking us out on the social media. And Blood, thank you for joining me because we're going to be seeing the second semifinal of NA number 12. It's going to be coming up in just a bit.
Woohoo.